Welcome to the Geek'd Up Podcast, episode number 2. I am your TV terminating, comic book collecting, movie messiah, video game god, or you could call me next door. And this is...
What's up? It's Jessica.
How you doing today?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing alright, Just been thinking about all this news that came out lately. Anything in particular you might have heard?
I heard something pretty exciting.
What?
That the executive producer of Arrow is thinking about adding on Constantine to the 4th season of Arrow because Constantine is getting canceled.
Yes. What do you think about that?
I like Constantine. I've never watched Arrow. Well, the only thing I really liked about Constantine was him and his friend.
Yeah. Chaz,
yes. I don't know. It would be... I don't know. I've never watched Arrow, so I can't really have that big of an opinion on it.
Yeah, I think it's kind of weird.
It's kind of strange, yeah.
I mean, I just feel like if that were going to happen, then the CW should just pick Constantine up and do a show and have
That's true.
Flash, Arrow, and Constantine all cross each other's worlds.
Yeah.
The only weird thing about it is Constantine doesn't really fit in with the superhero world.
I know.
He is part of, Justice League Dark, and he does some things with some of them, but it's just its own piece of DC, and I think it should just kind of be left there. I would still, because it's not being made, I want to see that character played by that actor, because it's good, but, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, what did you hear about this week? Anything cool?
There's a couple things. The one thing that in particular that caught my eye, is that on the set of the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 movie, which, as you know, I'm not interested in at all.
Yes.
Because I did not like the first one at all. Judith Hoag was spotted on set. And that is the original April O'Neil from the original movies.
Oh, okay.
So I just thought that was interesting. Obviously, I would imagine she's going to be playing a cameo.
Right.
Nothing major, but I almost feel like they needed to do that to get people like me
interested
to even
again.
care about
Yeah.
news about it, because that first one was a disaster in my opinion. There was also Mallrats finally gets an official title, and it's Mallbrats.
Mallbrats, nice.
Yeah. And so I'm excited about that, obviously, because I'm a huge fan of all the Kevin Smith movies. So I'm just any news about that kind of stuff excites me.
So what do you think about Deadpool?
Yeah, Deadpool, that is a good thing. I mean, Ryan Reynolds, I think that movie thing that's excited me about that, which I think you might have just been about to bring up, was that Ryan Reynolds is excited about it, doing all these Instagrams and stuff.
Yeah, I seen that. Mm-hmm.
So that gets me excited, that he's so excited about this. And the Mother's Day Deadpool thing he put out I thought was hilarious, with the woman on her back giving birth and him holding the baby in one arm and looking over. Like, that's the kind of movie we're about to get, and I think that sets it up. Then it had him in action.
Yeah, I saw that one.
So yeah, I'm excited about all that.
I like Ryan Reynolds, so
yeah, I think he's good at everything he does, basically. So yeah, that's it. I mean, anything else? That's all I got for news.
Yeah, that's all I got too.
All right, well, it's time to get into our reviews.
Here we go.
Why so serious?
It's time for Geek'd Up Reviews.
First up, what did we read this week?
We read...
Pisces.
And Pisces, yes.
Pisces #1, which is a new Image comic written by Curtis Weeb, art by Johnny Christmas. What did you think about this? What did you get out of it first?
It left me very confused.
Yeah.
It was almost like, am I the only one who doesn't kind of really follow what's going on? I felt like it was one of those. I probably should have went back and read it again. It left me so confused. I want to know what happens in the next one because there was a lot going on.
Yeah, there was a lot going on.
Yeah.
And my whole thing with reviewing this was just like Empty.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of empty, as in the Empty that we reviewed last week. I was a little not sure if I wanted to get the next one, and because I was having you read it and possibly get your take on it, I reread it.
Yeah.
And then I remembered why I needed to get that second one, because it ends in that bizarre...
And I know.
So bizarre that I just think, I gotta know what this is all about. It was about... Let me just get into what it was about. So it starts with a man driving erratically, whose name we find out later is Dylan. He's bleeding. He's on his way to the hospital. We feel like, at least I did, that he's trying to get there for himself. Then he gets there, gets confronted by a guy named Samuel, who is trying to keep him away from where he's going, and he says, you don't even know that you've been a dad for 3 hours. So that's when we find out that weird situation. And then all of a sudden, they get into a fight. Dylan gets knocked out. Wakes up, he's in Vietnam.
Yeah.
He's knocked out, he's in Vietnam. You know it's him because his face is still cut up the same as it was in that other world. And you meet him and Henry talking, but they're also hiding from, I'm guessing, the Viet Cong.
Yeah.
And Dylan gets taken. Henry runs while watching them kind of cut him up more.
Yeah.
He finally gets to this city, this village, where he finds a radio. Radio's for help. They say, okay, we're going to come get you. Go to the water. Meet us there. He gets there.
And this is where I got very confused.
Yeah, what happens when he gets
there? Isn't there a guy in a spacesuit?
Not yet.
In the water? I feel like there was a guy laying in the water. Are you sure?
I'm almost certain what I got out of it. He gets to the water. He starts walking on the water. The wave comes, knocks him down into the ocean, and then he wakes up and he is floating in space. So it's just like, and then he says, he just says the name Ruby. So, first of all, what the fuck is going on? And second, who the fuck is Ruby? And so it's just so bizarre that I want to know what's going on.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go back and read the first one before I read the second one. When does the second one come out?
Not for a month.
Oh.
But it's a really fast read, too. There wasn't many words. It's more studying the art and everything. Speaking of that, what did you think of the art?
I thought it was actually pretty good. It was pretty realistic. I thought the space art was pretty neat.
That scene where he gets knocked out and it's his full body and it shows him drifting and then he wakes up in Vietnam. That big spread, I like that. And then I like the big spread where he's in space.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think the art could have been better, but those big splash pages made it worth it.
Definitely.
But, so overall, story, very weird. Art, good. Not great, but good. So what do you give this? Do you give this a read, buy, or pass?
I'm going to say give it a read. Decide if you like it.
That's where I'm at. I think you read that first one. Maybe buy the first one to read it. If you're into it, go ahead and pick up the other ones. If it's something you're just kind of interested in, you might want to wait for the trade paperback to get the full story at once.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm very interested to see what could possibly be going on. So I'm going to be sticking around at least for one more.
Yeah, we'll see where it goes. If the second one's really confusing again, I think I'm going to have to say negative.
Yeah. So that's that. On to movies.
Movies. Let me guess.
What did we... First of all, before I get into what it is we're reviewing, you have never seen this before, correct?
Correct.
why did I make you watch this so we could review it on this episode?
Because you are super excited to watch it. And...
To watch what?
Mad Max.
Fury Road.
Fury Road, yes. And I had never seen any of them, so we watched all 3 this week. And now we are ready for the new one because we get to go see it tomorrow, Friday.
We get to go see it just like it's right after the third one.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's going to be interesting if this is a direct sequel, if this is... Well, who knows? I don't know, because it's a different... Tom Hardy's playing Max, and...
Well, so my question is, the tribe, or the kids, whatever you want to call them, at the end of the movie, I wonder if it's a sequel, if they'll go into that. Like, does he end up seeing the lights that they leave on for him?
Yeah, I don't know. See, that's
I mean?
Whole thing. And I don't... Let's start at the first one.
Okay.
Mad Max, the very first movie, Mad Max. We get this movie about a police officer in a post-apocalyptic or an apocalyptic landscape, I guess. Shit hasn't quite hit the fan. He's got a family, all this stuff. Basically, you don't really need to see the first one.
No, I did not like the first one.
It has some good characters, like Toe Cutter, and it has some good characters, but the second one goes into the intro and just completely tells you that whole story within 2 minutes.
I know.
And you really don't need to see the first one.
I know. The second one was a lot better, in my opinion, than the first one.
So, Max, his family gets killed, which, after watching it, she's not dead,
She's
right?
not dead.
That's what I don't get.
She was, like, in serious condition.
But she's going to make
alive.
It, is what the doctor says.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I'm lost.
I know. I thought that too, and I was like, I guess I'm just not going to say anything.
I've always thought that his family dies. We knew the kid died. She was in critical condition, and the doctor specifically says, well, she's going to make it. So I don't get it. And then he goes mad and chases those guys, and it ends with him winning.
Yeah.
Just quits pretty abruptly. And then we go right into the second one, where continues basically right there. We still see he has the busted up knee. He's now got a metal knee brace.
Mm-hmm.
So they keep that all in mind. But now he's got a new dog named Dog.
I know. I like that dog.
And this one is real simple plot too. He's trying to find gas. Meets a pilot who takes him to where there's a bunch of gas. And he's going to help these people out. So... Still no word on his wife, so I don't know. I'm just going to have to go with she's dead, but that's a weird plot hole. Because that's the whole reason he goes into this.
That's like a major thing to miss, or I don't know, maybe we missed something.
Yeah, maybe. In this one, he meets that pilot, they do their thing, he helps them get away, and they're driving away with all this stuff, and then here he is left alone again. So which brings us right into... Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, which is the third one. And what did you think about this one?
It was the best of the 3.
By far.
By far, yes.
I mean, it's exponentially. Each one is that much better.
Better, yeah. So I'm sure this one, the new one's gonna be great. But I really liked it. But I don't know. I feel like all the movies are kind of like, I explained this to you, like they're at one scene and then they're at another scene and then another scene and then another scene. Like I feel like it's not smooth transitions between storylines almost. Like, at the beginning of the Thunderdome one, he was in Barter City or Barter Town. And then, like, 20 minutes later, he's with a bunch of kids at some tribe place, and they're talking about Captain Walker.
Well, I thought that movie was pretty coherent. He goes to Bartertown. He wants stuff so he can continue on his way. He does what he has to do.
All that made perfect sense.
But then he gets put on his way. They banished him.
Yeah.
Because basically sent him off to death.
Yeah.
But somebody finds him and they bring him to these kids. That's the only reason he ends up there. So once he gets there, their whole history is based on this plane they found. And so that's all they know about the world. So they're telling him this whole story. And he wants to get them further. He wants them to get there so he knows how. And that's to go back to Bartertown and do what they do.
Yeah.
Which eventually they all get away again. And he is left behind. And the only thing I'm thinking is we got the pilot from the second movie is also playing a pilot from the third movie.
Yeah.
And is that the same character? Or is it just played by the same guy?
That
also is his kid, that feral boomerang kid from the second one as well.
it might be.
Because that's not where it's not making sense. It's almost like it's a continuation without being a continuation. Like he helped all these people go to Bartertown. It's almost, this is how I'm kind of taking it. I may be completely wrong. But these people leave. Max goes and does his own thing. Ends up, looks like a long time later. He's got long hair. To Bartertown, which I'm guessing maybe these people came to and now live in, including this pilot guy who goes there for fun. We see him there a few times.
But he doesn't even act like he
knows him. That's the weird thing. But then you got that happening. Then he meets these people who get away also at the end of this, and he doesn't again. Now, we look at the commercials for Fury Road, and it's another, especially the kid. The kid who has a white paint with the black eyes?
Yeah.
A lot of these people in this new movie have that same paint. The main guy who keeps putting the mask on with the long hair, he is the same guy who plays Toe Cutter in the first movie.
So is it all gonna connect?
I don't know.
Or is that just how he does it?
I mean,
has the same people, but not a connection to, other characters.
Yeah. I don't know. But what are you thinking about all of it? Just as a whole, we're kind of looking at this as a trilogy.
It was okay.
Didn't get you excited for Fury Road?
It kind of honestly got me a little less excited.
I know. I could tell.
Because I was really excited for it, like you are. And then I watched the first one and I was like, oh my god. I could barely stay awake.
Yeah, I almost skipped the first one. I almost was going to watch the first one by myself just to refresh, and then, because I knew, but I thought, fuck it, whatever, let's just watch them.
Well, I did. I mean, we'll see. I mean, they did get a lot better as they went on. So, I mean, I don't think this one's going to be bad or anything. It's just I'm not as excited. Because now I'm worried maybe I just don't like that kind of movie.
Yeah. You'll like it.
I'm sure I will.
It's getting so many good ratings.
I'm sure I will.
So, overall, what would you rate this, seeing as you didn't like it too much?
Probably a 6.
Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't rate it much higher than that. I'd give it, as a trilogy, I think Beyond Thunderdome is a 9. But as a trilogy, I'm looking at a 7, 7.5. I'm going to give it a 7.5 as a trilogy, just because that first one does drag it down quite a bit. But I kind of thought it was essential to see he did have a life.
Yeah.
It's kind of why I wanted you to watch it, shows his normal life, and how I like seeing the phases from kind of fucked up, pretty terrible, what the hell is going on in Beyond Thunderdome.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why. But I'll give the trilogy a 7.5. That's it for movie.
All right.
Time for our TV review.
TV, what are we reviewing?
First off, we saw Game of Thrones Season 5, Episode 6, titled Kill the Boy.
I love Game of Thrones, so every episode is pretty much like a birthday to me. I feel upset that... What's his name? That...
Jon Snow?
No, that Tyrion's with.
Oh, Tyrion. Mormont.
Mormont. I feel bad he got touched by Grayscale.
Yep.
That I'm curious as to what's gonna happen with that. Jon Snow, he ends up leaving, right? Or he's about to leave with the wildlings.
They do leave.
They do leave, yeah. I am excited to see where that goes. Really excited. Because I like when they go beyond the wall. I'm ready to see some White Walkers again.
Magic.
Mm-hmm. But I heard that it's not going to be in this season. Bran or anybody.
Nope.
That upsets me.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the season finale of season 4, I was like, yes! But then, they're leaving us hanging. That's okay. Then we have Daenerys.
Yeah.
Who said it's okay for this, free men to go in and...
Fight in the pits.
Fight in the pits.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I think that's awesome. I didn't like her next decision, which was she's going to have to marry somebody.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't like that at all, but...
That was weird.
They got to keep you on your toes, I guess.
Yeah. Didn't see Arya in this episode.
Nope. Which you saw a lot of her sister. Which were some of my favorite scenes in the whole thing.
Oh, gosh.
When you got Ramsay Bolton at that dinner scene, who, you know,
Reek.
just is, yeah, he's just a freaking asshole to Theon Greyjoy, and kind of shows him being put in his place by his dad.
I loved that.
Yeah, but then you turn around and you see that his dad sticks up and he tells him how proud he is and how much he needs him. So, and he says, you know, he's worried that he's not going to get the throne because he might have a boy. And his dad basically confirms that, you know, I raped your mom. And I was going to kill her and you, and then I looked in your eyes and I knew you were my son. So from that day forward, that's what you were, as my son. So that really makes Ramsay happy, and I can see him becoming an absolute madman now.
Psycho, yeah, I know.
So between that and the dragons, we got to see that dragon scene. Those were my two favorite.
Yeah. Oh, with her dragon flying over. Oh,
no.
Eating.
And eating the guy, yeah.
Well, you saw her dragon return to, God, what is it? Valyria?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like watching over its old, I guess.
That's kind of weird. Well, it's not weird, but, like, that's a long way away, isn't it, from where she is? It's still pretty far.
I don't think so. I think they're fairly close.
Are they?
Yeah.
Well, they got to the beach and Tyrion's like, how much further do we have? And the guy's like, hopefully we can find a boat or else it's going to be a really long walk.
Yeah.
But I guess if you're flying, that'd be...
dragon. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty... And then the title of the thing, Kill the Boy... we see that Master Aemon is talking to Jon Snow about how he's a boy still and how he needs to kill the boy and become a leader.
Yeah.
And that's when, become a man and a leader, and that's when he steps up and makes all those decisions. So I thought it was a good title for that. Overall, I liked it.
Yeah, I did too.
I like every episode.
I do too.
This is kind of maybe a weaker one.
With
It some
compared
really
to
good
others.
Moments.
Yeah.
But overall for this, I'm probably going to say this is on it for Game of Thrones is about a 7.
I agree with that.
Okay. Good deal. We also watched
Silicon Valley.
Season 2, Episode 6.
Love this show. Love every episode.
Yeah, all the characters, the story, just everything.
It's almost kind of like, it's almost getting to be like, when is something gonna go right though? Because like every episode, like it seems like something's going right, and then at the end something goes wrong.
But at the end of this, everything goes right.
That is true, because they caught the guy with the ferrets.
Yeah, so on this episode, it starts off with them trying to look for an office to expand. And Dinesh is practically begging Richard to take this office because there's a modeling agency up above. So he does. He says, we'll take it. Go home, starts packing up. Next thing you know, they can't get any server support anywhere because Hooli and Gavin over at Hooli is blackballing him basically. So they had to make a choice to go back to the house they were at and build their own, which I really like because it Guilfoyle decides to take that task on of building the servers, and I love when Guilfoyle and Dinesh are in competition because that's when you get the most funny banter out of them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when they're the most productive. So I love that whole scene of...
Well, I want to help.
Yeah.
Why can't I help? Because you have servants.
Yeah, but she can help. I mean, it's just funny. I really like that. Then, of course, you got that neighbor who wants to shut him down.
What a dick.
Because there's a business in a residential area, and he keeps coming over in his motorized wheelchair.
And this is a neighborhood for families with pets.
Yeah. Little do you know, he's a family with pets, and he's going to kick them out. He's going to turn them
Report them, yeah.
Until Richard happens to glance over and see that his pets are ferrets, which is an illegal animal to have in the state of California.
And he had multiple, his whole backyard.
Farm. I really like how you see Richard and his name's slipping my mind. TJ's character.
Yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about, but I can't remember his name.
Oh man! But anyway, TJ Miller's character. How much they stand up and go at this guy, and how angry they get, and to see Richard stand up for himself for once, and they basically say, not only are you not going to tell on us, because if you do, we're going to get your ferrets taken away, but you're also, whole plot I forgot to talk about, you're also going to let Jared live in your guest house because he speaks German in his sleep.
That is so weird.
And Richard has night sweats in his sleep and possible pee in his bed. There's a lot of stuff going on in this one.
Real serious shit.
Yeah. But this show, I don't know. It's one of those shows that's good to just laugh and have a good time.
We always watch Game of Thrones, and then we watch Silicon Valley, and then it's bedtime. And we're good to go.
Pretty sure that's half of the United States.
I know.
But at least I hope they're also watching Silicon Valley because it's definitely funny. Regardless of if you're into tech or not. It's a funny show. What'd you give this particular episode?
Probably a 9.
That's exactly what I was going to say. So much going on, so funny. Weird plot twists and everything. But, so, that's it for TV. Now, it's time to battle.
Round 1, fight.
Round 1, we had last week had you look at a cover for the comic Savior #1, put out by Image Comics by Todd McFarlane, and let's play a clip of what you thought this was about.
I'm gonna go with aliens come to try to help the humans. That looks like an alien or something. That doesn't look like a person. I'm just stuck on that now because that does not look like a regular sized person. It's a really tall person. Okay, so maybe they come and destroy Earth, and then these people are gonna try to save it.
As we can see, you thought this comic was about an alien that came to Earth, destroyed it, and you got these saviors, these people that are going to try to save the planet.
Yeah.
What is this really about? Let's get into it.
Okay.
And we'll see if you're right or wrong.
Well, it seems like it's more about a boy in a small town in Kansas, I believe,
Yes.
that heals people. And they almost think that he's like God, basically. But they're talking about some big event. Are they talking about the plane crashing down? Like,
what big event?
Like at the beginning, they're like, "Oh, I'm sure you remember the thing that happened like 6 months ago."
Yeah, they're talking about that.
The plane crash.
Yeah.
So, but he wasn't at the plane crash. But was that him holding the little girl at the end?
Well, I mean, that's what I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Only it makes sense.
But why did the plane crash? We have no clue, right?
No, we have no idea.
So basically, I was completely wrong.
You're completely wrong. Because what we have here is this police escort with this man is pulling up to a courthouse, it looks like, and the news crew's there. And they're saying, oh, arriving as a Samaritan. That's what they're calling him. And as he gets out, you have this mixed crowd talking about how some of them are sick and they want his help, almost like Jesus. And some of them are calling him a fraud, almost like they did to Jesus. And this reporter asks him, do you believe you're God? And he turns and says, what? And you see blam, 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 like shots fired.
Yeah.
You go back 6 months to when they were originally talking about at the beginning. And you got this reporter giving a lecture.
At a high school.
Yeah. And in this lecture, she's talking about
cliques and judging people.
Cliques, judging people, being honest with yourself. And then she gets into how we're never really getting the correct answers in society, because you got one news channel telling you one thing and another news channel telling you something completely different. And if you don't like what one's saying, you turn to the other one, and that's what you're going to believe. So she goes on to talk about the internet has made us all a lot dumber while convincing ourselves that we're smart, and she talks about how that's a lethal combination.
Right.
It was also pointed out to me, and I had to go back and read it, that there was a part with a little boy selling drugs, and then his friends come up and ask him to get in the car and go to the concert.
And he wouldn't go.
He wouldn't go. But when that plane crashes, it lands on that truck full of those kids.
Really?
Yeah, it was pointed out to me. I had no clue about that. I went back. I was like, for sure, that's what it is. So I think that kid
knew something was going to happen.
No, well, maybe. But I'm more thinking he's going to play a more pivotal role in this because of whatever's happening. But this plane crashes. The reporter gets out, starts recording, asking people what happened. That's when you see that man come out holding the girl, and it ends with her lecture speech still, and it says, in the end, we believe what we want to believe, we see what we want to see, it's perfectly natural, and it's perfectly dangerous. So we're just going to get into a biblical, political style thing where, is this man just a person helping this person? Is he divine? You know, all sorts of things could come up from this. And I personally, because of the art and everything and the story, I'm really into this one.
Yeah, I like it. I'm glad you picked that one for last week.
Yeah.
I'm sad I was completely wrong. wrong.
So you get no points.
No points. No fair.
And that is a win for me on round 1. Now, for next week, I'm going to show you another cover.
Okay.
And you are going to have to tell me what you think this is all about. And here you go. I'm showing you, if anybody wants to follow along, we are about to look at The Surface, number 1 by L.S. Cott. What do you think this is about?
Oh, Jesus. Okay. Obviously, there's more than you see going on. I should be looking beyond the surface, right?
Well, just talk out. What is it you're looking at?
I'm looking at a dude peeling his head off, his skull, and all these things coming out of it. I think it's about this guy who seems normal on the outside, and then on the inside he's like going crazy, but I don't know what the story would be. This isn't much to go off of.
Make something up. That's what I had to do last week.
He's getting tested and monitored by doctors because he's a freak.
Okay. So Surface number 1 is about a man being tested by doctors because he's a freak.
Yeah.
Okay, we're locking that in, and we'll see how you do next week.
Break. Go back to your corners.
That is it for Geek versus Girlfriend. It's time for round 2.
Round two, fight.
This week on Girlfriend versus Geek.
So last week we talked about Adam Levine
Yes.
and what you thought happened.
Yes.
So Adam Levine was outside signing autographs, and this is what you guessed happened to him.
I'm going to guess that Adam Levine was outside signing autographs, and a male fan came up to him naked with an erection.
Oh.
That's my guess. So
Okay.
we're going to lock that in.
Okay, so that's what you thought about it.
Yeah. What? Yeah. Okay. So what is it?
What actually happened, he was outside signing autographs, obviously, at Jimmy Kimmel. He had just got done filming. And he got flour bombed. Or rather, powder sugared bombed.
Okay.
So a guy came up and threw a white substance at him while he was just outside being nice, signing autographs. And the LA police ended up arresting him because he hit, obviously, Adam Levine and 4 others, including his security. And apparently this guy is known for doing this kind of stuff. So the LA police arrested him. His name is Naveed Farsi? I don't know. He got arrested for battery. And honestly, this was the funniest part of the story to me.
What?
Apparently, the week before he did this to Adam Levine,
Who'd he do it to?
he threw a rock at The Rock.
And what'd The Rock say?
Just a report was made, but they didn't press charges or anything.
So, Is it because is there a new song called Sugar?
Yes.
Maybe that's what he's
Yeah,
doing.
and that's what people thought too, that it was powder sugar.
Threw a rock at the rock and
Yeah.
sugar at the guy that's singing Sugar. That's pretty
I
funny.
kind of like this guy.
Yeah.
Okay, so
That's no points for me.
no points for you, 1 point for me.
But what do we have this week?
Okay, so this week we're going to talk about Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp.
Okay.
Okay, so his wife, Amber Heard, and Johnny.
How come I know the name Amber Heard, but I don't?
She's an actress. She was in The Ward. Do you remember that? Blonde hair. She has blonde hair.
Oh, yeah. Was she also in...
She was in like a driving movie.
Well, isn't there one where she worked at a paint store?
I don't know.
Or moved to a town and needed to buy paint from Josh Duhamel?
Probably. I don't know. You
Oh.
would have to look it up.
She's young.
Yeah, they're married.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
I guess they've been married for a while.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they went on a trip to Australia. They got in trouble for smuggling something in. What was it?
Smuggling something in. I'm gonna see. An animal.
Okay.
It was their pet dog.
Okay. Is that what you're going with?
Can I go for bonus points? And
No.
We'll check it next week.
No, that's not
No?
fair. No,
Okay.
because
Then-
these are a lot easier than guessing comic book covers.
No, not if you keep up on your info.
What are you trying to say?
Gotta make it a little harder next time. Because, I mean, they didn't smuggle no drugs in, I'm guessing. It's gotta be something...
Should I just change it?
No, wait, it's done. So we'll lock that in. What was even the question?
What did they smuggle in?
And they got in trouble for it.
Yes.
Their family pet dog. Lock it in. Boom.
Break. Go back to your corners.
That is it for Girlfriend versus Geek. We'll come back next week. We will find out who wins, who loses, and who's getting one step closer to having to do something embarrassing throughout the show. And that is it this week for Geek'd Up Podcast. Anything else you'd like to say?
Nothing other than hasta luego. Have a good one. What do you have to say?
I just have to say I can't wait till next week when we review
Mad Max.
Mad Max Fury Road. I cannot wait. We will have watched it. We will be reviewing it. And it's going to be a pretty good time. So come back. We're going to have some more news. We're going to have some more reviews. And we're going to have some more battles for you. So come back next time to the Geek'd Up Podcast. Again, I go by Next Door.
And this is Jessica.
Remember to hug a Xenomorph.